miles down, beating everything.
I know. He even beat me getting into chat. Honest to God.
I'm so glad we have one fan.
Right. I always wanted to start. Well, we are growing. I've always wanted to start. I've wanted to have like a crew, like, you know, as it starts to roll, that old like 70s style talk show where
Like
it's
WKRP.
Right, you are, Alex,
Or
and
even
hello.
or even like WKRP,
Yeah,
where they all kind of like they're all working and then they turn to the camera.
yeah. Yeah, right, you are. That's just my crew back there. Give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, welcome to Lawfully.
Welcome to the show. We have a really good show.
Lawfully Chaotic, episode 29 of season 2.
Hey, when do we want to wrap up season 2? I feel like it's coming. I feel like it's coming for the holidays, right?
Yeah, I thought we talked about that. I think we're going to wrap season 2 end of October.
Around Thanksgiving?
Yeah, or Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yeah, around Thanksgiving. Yeah. Cool.
But nonetheless, welcome to it tonight.
Yeah. Yes,
tonight we are going to talk about the state of the game, which basically
games,
which is basically a catch-all for us to just say, you know what, let's just kind of shoot the shit about game stuff. So
shooting the shit. Although I did have some fun, I went into LinkedIn, which I use on occasion, and I looked up tabletop role-playing game market 2023, new report forecast 2030, current and future trends, 112 pages of filler. That's in a market perspective, bro. Like, and the list, like when they summarize their list, but they obviously make mention of other creators. The top of their bullet list is Pinnacle Entertainment. Could you think of anything that's Pinnacle Entertainment? It's Savage Worlds, bro. They also run casinos. Like, Pinnacle Entertainment owns the Savage Worlds RPG, but they also run Harrah's and casinos.
I'm trying to think, like, what is Pinnacle? I know I've heard the name, but what the really?
So when I was doing some research on Pinnacle, right, I was checking them out and found out a lot of fascinating stuff with them. But, then the next one down, was Bully Pulpit Games.
Okay.
And Bully Pulpit is famous for Fiasco. Pinnacle does Savage Worlds, Deadlands, Necessary Evil. They do a version of Pathfinder.
Okay.
Savage Pathfinder. Bully Pulpit is Cowboys with Big Hearts. Fiasco, which turns out Fiasco is like a very popular game right now that I didn't. It's like a card board game that people play. But third on their list is Wizards of the Coast.
Okay.
Right, and then fourth is Magpie Games.
Okay.
And Magpie Games, they do, I believe they're doing all the Avatar Legends stuff. I believe they're doing a couple other things. I wasn't aware of what they were doing, so it was a fun journey to go down and look at all the RPGs that they do. And then next on their list is Chaosium.
Right. Okay.
Who does Cthulhu.
Right.
And then, their sixth bullet point is Paizo.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if they did that list based on a market expectation of performance. I don't know. Right. That could just be a bullet of lists they put together, because after Paizo, it says, and more, so obviously there's a big bullet summary.
These are financial projections?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these are financial projections for market 2030.
I wonder if that is just existing properties and speculating on how those audiences grow.
It's so they base the numbers on age group, applications, and regions. So they talk about the ages of, below 18, 18 to 35, 36 to 49, above 50. They talk about retailers, direct to consumer via e-commerce sites. North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America, Middle East, Africa. So it's a very robust 112-page report on the capex and market growth over the next 7 years.
Interesting.
I barely scratched the surface of it. There's a lot there that reads like
I know industry wise, gaming in particular, board gaming, and by an extension of board games, role-playing games, is supposed to jump to like from a low single-digit billion-dollar industry to a low to mid double-digit billion dollar industry by that time, which I think can very, very easily be evidenced by what we see on Kickstarter for board games.
And I think also there's some good evidence to support that I think a gaming community kind of saved the idea of the D&D movie a little bit. Like the D&D movie was an okay, fun movie, but because the gaming community is so large, they made it a reasonably profitable, okay, fun, good movie. You know what I mean? It's like it did really, really well. It did a lot better on streaming than it did in the theaters. So overall, they made money making that movie. Whether or not they made enough money to do another one, I don't know. I don't know what the statistics or the calculation for that number is, but I think having a popular gaming community really helped out a lot. Now we've got a Warhammer movie, with Henry Cavill potentially coming. We've got Joe Manganiello's documentary about Gary Gygax and the rise and fall of TSR and D&D. We got that coming out, and it's an interest, like, and all the D&D influencers are talking about we're in the golden era of RPGs and being led at the forefront by D&D, to the point where it's directly competing pretty decently against the PC gaming and console gaming community, either competing in the sense that it's able to overlap with each other and have some successes, or people are like playing Starfield and going, oh, I wonder if Star Wars 5e RPG or TTRPG would be fun to try out. And they're overlapping their experiences because of how many choices there are.
Out in the TTRPG community. I think that trend recently is due to COVID and people's need to be face to face, even if that means remotely face to face. But
right.
Like, it's one thing to play I don't play computer games anymore. I rarely even turn on my Xbox.
I wish I could. I wish I could. It's just they're so time consuming. I just don't have the time to do it.
That's a part of it, but also I don't know if the console's a little different. I still flip on the console,
I always open up a good bottle of whiskey or mix myself up a good drink and turn on GTA 5 and have some fun with it.
Yeah, but in terms of like, I haven't played anything on the computer since I stopped playing World of Warcraft in like 2012.
I think that's a pretty common like statement these days.
Right. But that, I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying everybody's doing that, but I do think that, it is one thing to be sitting in front of a computer, even if it's massively multiplayer. But it's another thing to, like, you and I, we could just as easily be playing D&D right now,
Right.
So even though we're not in the same room together, we're still face to face. So
was there an explanation of the jump?
You talk about the jump in those figures, Colin?
I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We haven't delved. Jason hasn't delved deep enough into the report yet, so no.
I was mostly scraping the report just to get a feel for where the business community was at with the idea of things, because when a soulless corporate structure. When a soulless corporate structure starts looking at a community for profiteer purposes, you begin to question what they should or shouldn't, right? So,
Jason, send me the analytics so I could send them to Colin.
I'll make sure.
Baldur's Gate. Oh, yeah. So actually, speaking of computer games or
Baldur's Gate.
PC games that you play on your personal computer, Max, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is now available on Steam for Mac.
It is.
However, I don't know. It's supposed to come out for the Xbox, and again, I think I'd rather play it on the console, but I don't know when the release date is for Xbox. So.
It's on PS5.
It is on PS5.
Did they release it on PS4 as well, or just PS5? Do you know, Kurt?
I think just 5. No, that's 3 Miles, not Kurt.
Well, 3 Miles is Kurt, I think. It's one of my players.
Kurt. Oh. Then I'm.
Do you have a Kurt in your orbit?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it looks. Yes, I is.
Okay.
Okay.
I can always tell because he does the Kraken.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's right. I like the Kraken. Then I may have been calling the wrong person Kurt. I apologize. Oh my God, it's Kurtgate. Now I'm going to be fucking canceled. Now I'm going to be canceled. All 2 of our viewers are going to be irate, and I'm going to get canceled.
And you deserve it.
I deserve it. Then I'll just start another Lawfully chaotical over on some other network. All right, let's stay on top.
Podium Gate. So I think though BG3.
I really want to play it, but I kind of want to wait for the.
You want to know why I don't want to play it? You know why I can't stand the idea of playing it?
Why?
Because you have to run a whole party.
Really?
Yeah, you run a whole party. It's not like you run one character.
So it's
like Neverwinter.
So, okay. So it's fully turn-based. It's not real time.
Well, I mean...
How the fuck do you run a whole party if it's real time?
I mean, 3 Miles might be better at answering this than I am.
So
there is a single play mode. Okay. I would be interested playing one player. And it is turn-based. It's a turn-based
you can
game.
Play with okay, so basically it's playing D&D?
Pretty much.
Oh, fuck. That fuck Chris Cox got his fucking wish, that bastard.
Hey, Ashton. No, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's just like playing D&D, which I do 11 times a week. And I don't know if I want to do that in my downtime.
All right, what else you got? Oh, let's awkward pause. Guess what I remembered? Ding,
What's
ding,
that?
Ding. Okay. First question is.
Oh, good Lord! Here he goes.
I forgot what they are, so I'm just going to say green. A chip of what material? I'm sorry. A chip of what mineral is the material component required to cast the spell Shatter?
A chip of glass or something like that?
Anyone else? We got glass.
Or like, I don't remember.
No Googling.
They're all Googling.
Anyone? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is mica.
Mica.
Okay, we'll do another one.
Chippo dis dick.
Chippo dis dick. Hey man, this is a family show, man. Keep it clean.
Yeah, don't be so fucking rude.
Yeah. All right. Yellow. In which landmark issue of Dragon magazine was the first Gord the Rogue story by Gary Gygax published?
And I've got like
fucking
200
clue.
copies of Dragon magazines over in my cubicle over there, and I couldn't tell you that.
Number 100, the story At Moonset Black Cat Comes. No, not even close.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the WotC on D&D 1 in a minute here too, because
all right, well, yeah, one more.
Yeah, I was reading some interesting shit about what's going on there.
One more question here. Let's do purple. What? Hey, you should have checked out. No, not you. See, this is why we need a producer. I can't do two things at once. Pictionary got that. Okay. Okay, purple. What plane of existence is a realm of perpetual twilight that parallels the material plane, inhabited by both sylvan and malevolent creatures?
That's the Feywild. Come on, man. You gotta get harder than that.
It is the Feywild, also called the Plane of Fairies.
Are they allowed to call that still? Is that okay to say?
I don't know. I will post about it on X/Twitter and make sure that somebody understands how upset I am about it.
Calista gets mad at me because I when I tell her I'm posting on Twitter, I go, yeah, I'm posting on Pornhub. She goes, what do you mean? It's Pornhub now. Didn't you know? See the X? That's the Pornhub vernacular.
No, it's only one X. That's just adult friend finder.
It's so funny to listen to like social commentators stumble over X, formerly known as Twitter. They have to like say the words like 3 or 4 times, and it's like
I just say I just call it the platform formerly known as Twitter.
And every time you get it wrong, a little Elon in the 7th level of hell gets his pitchfork.
That reminds me also. Now we're getting off topic. This reminds me also. Hold that thought, 3 miles. Is it still tweeting? I got a huge. Okay, first rant of the night coming up, brothers and sisters. What was I going to say first about? What were we talking about?
I was talking about evil Elon.
That's right. Oh fuck! God damn! I just lost a train of thought because I got so excited about the second train of thought. The platform formerly known as Twitter. Never mind. It couldn't have been that important. Okay. Is it still tweeting? This guy achieved and broke one of the Oscar of the branding world. Did
he?
Yeah.
Was it really the Oscar of the branding world?
No. The Oscar in branding, the highest, you mean
you just the brand idea in general.
Yes. If you can make a brand become a household name, become a noun or a verb, or a generic term like Coca-Cola, Kleenex, Q-tip. And he had that with Twitter. And that question, is it still called tweeting? Because now tweet is a verb that we use all the time. So what the fuck possessed him to
get rid
of that cachet and change the name?
Get on your Twitter, or we're gonna have to Google where a Starbucks is.
Yeah,
it's like 3 brands in a row that just no.
That's my point. If you achieve that with the brand, Starbucks, you don't
get on your Twitter and Google us a location, right?
Yeah.
That idea of multi-brand.
You never ever change your name. Could you imagine Nike changing their name?
Who's Nike?
Or even Apple, and neither of those are household names. Could you imagine Coca-Cola changing its name?
Who's Coca-Cola? No. Can we stick with relevant products? I mean, I'm not even sure what these things do anymore.
Could you imagine Middle Earth role-playing game changing its name?
No, that's heresy. How dare you?
All right. Anyway, way off topic. Okay. New counterspell rules. So basically, the counterspell now forces basically a con save. If I am to understand it correctly.
So before we jump into that idea of the counterspell rule, I'm gonna go to the source, go to Unearthed Arcana. So
yeah, read it exactly. I don't recall the
before I read it, to be clear, they dropped Player's Handbook 5, 6, and 7.
Wait.
And they opened up Player's Handbook playtest. It's open until October 5th for feedback.
Oh, you not Player's Handbook. You meant playtest, like
No. It's called Player's Handbook Playtest 5, Player's Handbook Playtest 6, Player's Handbook.
Oh, yeah, it's a playtest chunk. Yeah, okay.
So look at the amount of time they've consumed just on the player's handbook. Like my mind is blown at the continued mantra of discounting the importance of the GM. We're so important, they delivered a 15-year-old map system that we've already been using with other services, and they called it Alpha.
But my friend, you as a DM are only 1/6 of the population of the audience. You're realizing.
And money matters,
on average,
not people.
So
people
no, you don't matter. In fact, why don't you go fuck off, and everything will become digitally, artificially intelligent, my friend.
I hate WotC so much. They fucked up this game so bad.
Kind of as much as I hate Games Workshop.
They're just such a shit company. They don't have a creative soul left in them. They're so crap.
Shekels, my good man, pay them.
I know, right?
Okay, so read the counterspell rules, because 3 Miles is itching to
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. I think it's under the spell summary section. I was amazed at the lack of creativity of what they added to the feats and descriptions, and a whole paragraph on how to push people. Okay, whatever. Counterspell. Casting time reaction, which you take when you see a creature within 60 feet of yourself, casting a spell with verbal, somatic, or material components. Range, and its component is still only speech. You attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell. The creature must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the spell dissipates with no effect, and the action, bonus action, or reaction used to cast it is wasted. If the spell was cast with a spell slot, the slot isn't expended.
Wait, what?
There's like no competition in this at all now. It's basically just a con save. So you attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell. The creature must make, so I'm going to cast counterspell on you.
Yeah.
Right? That means you have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Therefore, my spell attack doesn't matter that much. In fact, my spell attack modifier, my spell DC, everything about counterspell, which was already mitigated through their convoluted, DC 10, add the spell level, add this, whatever, right? If you go up against high constitutional creatures, counterspell's just fucking worthless.
Yeah.
But
on the other hand, if you cast it with a spell slot, it doesn't use the spell slot. Does that mean if they succeed on their save?
So if they succeed on their save, it's not counterspell. Okay. If they fail their save, it's counterspelled.
And it doesn't cost you a spell slot?
And it doesn't cost the target a spell slot.
So it's a fucking counterspell cantrip, basically.
Well, no, it's like the 3 Miles perspective. I cast interrupt.
Yeah. It costs the counterspell caster's spell slot. No.
But
something about it said it does not use a spell slot.
Right.
Did I mishear that?
So the person casting it,
yeah,
whether it's fail or success, it costs them a spell slot.
Okay.
But if your target fails, it doesn't cost them their spell slot.
Oh. Then that further
should you be allowed to counterspell Eldritch Blast?
Well, yeah, why? Oh, because it's a cantrip.
Yeah, it's not a spell, right? Counterspells for spells.
Right. That's actually interesting.
It's just a drift into the nuance of their stupidity. It's like,
but basically they've turned it into a counterspell cantrip, because if it doesn't cost a spell slot, it
doesn't cost the target a spell slot.
Shit, I keep going there.
Yeah, the person casting, it's still costing them the spell slot.
Okay. But so no, what they did is they neutered it even further, to your point.
Right. So what used to be a direct like conflict between the level of spells being used against each other.
I know.
Became the DC 10 at the spell level.
Yeah.
You know, right? So if it's a 9th level spell, DC 10, it's a 19. You got to roll, you got to beat a 19, right?
Yeah.
So now they've made it where it's just a simple constitution save.
Right. Yeah. It's
one of the most popular mechanics in the game. And I'm surprised that they were so, you know.
That's actually a really fucking awesome idea.
Well, I mean,
I would not use that new counter spell. So 3 miles now, I didn't fully read it before.
Yeah.
I agree. It's ridiculous and stupid, and I wouldn't use it in my game.
Yeah, and I agree with Ash. And the save factor of it makes no sense narratively either. Like it's like a 9th level wizard, you know, like a 20th level wizard.
So wait a second.
This amazing 9th level spell.
So what happens to I counterspell your counterspell? So now the defender basically has 2 chances to make your spell fail.
So Wizard 1 is casting a powerful spell.
Right. Wizard 2 says
the Bard, typical Bard behavior, right?
Yeah.
I cast counterspell.
Okay.
Wizard 1 has an acolyte who casts counterspell on the counterspell.
Right.
It still works. In fact, I think that's why they simplified it, because Wizard or Acolyte 1 is casting counterspell on the counterspell. The Bard has to make a save. If the Bard beats that save, his spell goes off, which means the Wizard either is going to beat or fail that con save. So it still works fine mechanically.
Right. Is there anything that states timing wise? Can you make your save and then if you fail, say, oh, I counterspell? Or do you have to state you are counterspelling before you roll that save?
It's still the same counterspell rules. I mean...
I understand it's the same counterspell rules, but then it's like you could say, well, I'm going to take my save first. Oops, I failed. I made it. Okay, great. I'm good. Oops, I failed. And now I counterspell.
No. It's the only thing that interacts with that is legendary resistances, right? Legendary resistances are the only ones that allow you to say, oh, I failed, therefore I automatically save. I use a legendary resistance.
No, you're missing
but hold on, no, in counterspell, right? I'm trying to understand what you're asking. I'm not sure if I'm hearing it right.
Well, I don't think I stated it correctly. So here, let me restate it.
All right.
So, okay, so right now, say I cast Fireball and you counterspell.
Right.
And then somebody counterspells the counterspell.
Which someone is then free to counterspell.
Yeah. So when that first person casts counterspell, to your point, being dependent on your power, okay, that you cast it at, and you're you know, and whatnot. I don't know. I have less of a chance of knowing what my chances are of, you know, will it work?
But it's irrelevant because
I'm gonna say, well, I really don't want the spell to happen. I'm gonna cast counterspell.
Well, it's still synchronous order. Right.
But well, hold on. Now let me finish. So now, as that second wizard who's deciding whether or not to waste a counterspell, all I got to do is say, well, I'm going to take my save first and see if I make it. And then if I don't,
you can't do that.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, DM table is going to let you do that because it's got to go in synchronous order.
Okay.
So once a wizard casts Fireball, a bard casts Counterspell, and then another wizard casts Counterspell, that wizard's got to go first. That third one, right? Mm-hmm. He goes first, which means the bard has to make a save. So the bard makes their con save, which means their Counterspell goes off.
Mm-hmm.
But then the wizard makes his con save, which means the Counterspell doesn't affect them.
Right.
So it's a chain reaction of saves,
right,
as opposed to direct challenges.
Yeah, I get that.
To like spell power.
I get that.
You're right. They just neutered it even more.
Yeah.
With what they did.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, once again, it feels like they're simplifying rules to a younger audience to get them to play more often.
Is it really simplifying it though? I mean, oh, so you don't have to do math of dividing in two. Okay, fine, fair point.
Almost 3/4 of my players I hate math rocks.
Yeah, I know.
But they love the dice. So they added something that was interesting under mastery, martial mastery. I thought was funny. Okay. I thought that they were nicknames for people who were working on the game, because it says mastery: slow, nick, push, vex, cleave, graze, sap, topple. I'm like, these are Discord handles, right?
Exactly, actual, right? Either that or
these are actual definitions. Oh yeah. No, they're actual definitions.
Either that or a group of Gen
When you go down to the mastery properties, cleave. If you hit a creature with a melee attack using this weapon, you can make an attack roll with the weapon against a second creature within 5 feet of the first. On a hit, the second creature takes the weapon's damage, but do not add your ability modifier to it. So basically a weapon with the cleave status on it. Yeah, they're calling these weapon masteries.
Yeah.
But these masteries are directly linked to weapons, not necessarily feats or skills.
Right. You master in sword, or I think even, I don't know if it goes as much. I think it.
Yeah. So they're saying
long sword.
Yeah. Each weapon now has a mastery property as shown in the weapon tables above. That property is usable only by a character who has a feature such as weapon mastery, right? So you have to have the weapon mastery feat, basically, that unlocks the property for the character. Here are descriptions of each mastery. Now, this is a good example of something I think that kind of works.
Yes, I agree.
Right? Because whether or not to,
because one of the things in the game, it's like, you know, that you got a battle axe and a long sword, same exact stats. You know, short sword, scimitar, same exact stats, basic stats. I'm not talking about, versatile, light, and all that shit. But, so it's like, my character could use either. It's the same damage, blah.
Well, and he brings up a good point. Like a barbarian with a great axe, and I know they're trying to come up with a new way of managing proficiencies, right? So by claiming these masteries, right, you can now give a little bit of extra to the weapons that they've never had before. Like why does a halberd do as much damage as a lance, but you have to narrate their outcome equally? They're both totally different weapons, right? Yeah. So there's some narrative there, but they're not really tackling anything that we weren't already tackling through homebrew and kind of like, alterations on our own.
It is nice to see it built in to where now I can say, okay, well, now I have mastery in longsword. So whereas, yes, a longsword and a battle axe are almost virtually the same for me, well, now I've got this one extra thing that I can do because I like to specialize in the sword. I'm a sword guy. My guy's a sword guy. That's his backstory, yada, yada, yada. So I do think it is good. That one I'll give a thumbs up to, as now this is turning into...
Is that a sneeze, or did you have to do a line of Coke?
That was a sneeze. And I was able to hit the mute button on time. No, I'll give that one a thumbs up because I think it is cool to have it built in and not have to homebrew.
Yeah, because the only thing I was doing before is that if you were using a weapon you never used before and you didn't have proficiency in it, you had disadvantage.
You didn't have proficiency, like a specific proficiency, like glove?
Well, like for example, if you weren't martial and you weren't proficient with martial weapons, and you picked up a martial weapon and you tried to use it, you automatically had disadvantage.
Oh, on top of not applying your proficiency modifier. Okay, gotcha.
So it.
So that's for something you've never used before.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's a great homebrew rule.
It's an easy way to say, look, you've never wielded a hand axe in your life. You've been a rapier, rogue type finesse weapon person, and you're picking up a brutish hand axe to do to get into a fight. You just can't use it at equal levels. It just doesn't make sense.
But I like that where it's like, pick, is it one encounter, 2, 3, once you do that.
You know what?
Guess what? That disadvantage now goes away.
I actually like this 3 miles. Why couldn't they blend the old weapon masteries into a leveling bonus? You know what we've always been talking about is like, you know, leveling up certain sub skill sets to give yourself a little bit more of a skill tree.
Yeah, a more granular approach instead of these giant stair steps.
You know, use the sword for 2 levels, you unlock parry.
Yeah, that would be fucking awesome.
Right.
You know, I want my if I'm 18th level, I should be able to throw my fucking greatsword end over my head and peg somebody to the wall.
I was just laughing my ass off at the descriptors. I thought they were hysterical. Cleave makes sense. Graze. You know what I call the word graze? You know what I use that word for? You just barely missed.
Right. Yeah. Nick, you just graze him, but you don't do any damage.
Yeah. I have one in here called Nick. That's my drug dealer. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Push. That's what I do to my toddler down the stairs. Go get that. I push him down the stairs. I don't even know what sap means. Is that like to make
sap is like, you know, when you sap someone, you try to knock them out. So you would be like, for a sword, for instance, probably taking the hilt to specifically knock somebody out in the head.
If you hit a creature with this weapon, that creature has, so it's like stun. It's like they're writing it here like it's a stun effect, because if you hit a creature with this weapon, that creature has disadvantage on its next attack roll. So you're like kind of like giving them stars.
Is that a whip? What weapon has stun?
Well, or sap. So Morningstar has sap.
Yeah.
Warpick has sap.
Yeah.
Spear has sap.
A spear? Oh, I guess if you come around and knock somebody in the
just
head.
Like smack them upside the head, as opposed to, you know.
No, actually, Warlock. On WoW, yeah. I mean, I played a whole bunch of shit, but my main tune was a Warlock.
I love how they immortalized one of the critical role characters in here. One of the features is called Vex. If you hit a creature with this weapon and deal damage to the creature, you have advantage on your next attack roll against that creature before the end of your next turn.
Is that a whip?
I am so vexed.
Is that a whip?
You know.
Throw me the idol. Let's throw the whip.
Short sword.
Quick. No time to work.
If you take short sword mastery, and if you take,
what are you doing? Like the
with Vex, it's like you hit someone and you do damage, and suddenly you have advantage on your next attack roll. What the fuck? I mean,
no, I'm telling you, it's like the with the knives, you know, and then. Like that scene from Dumb and Dumber with the karate where he's like, you know?
Looks like they're trying to do the creature type thing again. Every creature in D&D, including every player character, has a special tag in the rules that identifies the type of creature it is.
Why do we always have to label
player characters are of the humanoid type. Here's a list of the game's creatures in alphabetical order. Aberration, Beast, Celestial, Construct, Dragon, Elemental, Fae, Fiend, Giant, Humanoid, Monstrosity, Ooze, Plant, and Undead. I guess they're trying to firm up the fact
that Goblinoid. They left out.
That's
Goblinoid.
humanoid. Yeah, that's humanoid.
No, well, it should be its own.
No, it's humanoid. That changed. Last time I checked, that changed some. Oh, I don't know. 30 years ago, when we decided that, you know, the vast amount of racism in AD&D 1 and 2 had to be dealt with, you old fart. Pay attention to the rules, if you would, please. I'm assuming they're firming up creature type for like spell clarification, because that's always a challenging conversation to have. You know, what's the difference between a monster, an aberration, an undead, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looks like they're firming up difficult terrain, blind sight, climb speed. Help action.
Giant had its own.
Yeah, Giant always had its own and always had its own language.
But to that point, it could be considered humanoid. It looks like a human, just a big human. So then.
Well, now you're
why does
mitigating
giant have its own, but orcs and goblins and whatnot don't?
Was that supposed to be Scandinavian? I think I just slipped into my.
I didn't want to
Thursday
say
night
anything
accent.
because it hurts my ears when Jason does accents, and I didn't even want to go there because
I don't know if I was trying one.
that was
I think I was.
plane flying over Iceland and then England and then Scotland is what that was. And just like the time zone changed, so doth your accent.
And it's
Ahoy,
horrible because the one place my brain goes to when I try to think of a Swedish accent is like the Elsa movies, the Eliza
Frozen?
movies or whatever. Frozen, yeah, because
Frozen.
When he goes and visits the general store owner, and he's just this big
that's
guy
the caricature
that
of
very high pitched Swedish voice. Won't you come in and warm your feet by the fire?
Fire. What can I do to help you? You probably need something for your trip. Yeah, you look like you're going to go camping.
For your frozen bum. Let me see your bum. Is it frozen? Yeah. Let me warm it up for you.
See, real accents and Disney accents are two very different things.
Well, of course they are. They're comic relief for a reason.
Of course, yeah.
So the help action, assist ability check, choose one of your skill or tool proficiencies and one ally who can perceive you. You give advantage to the next ability check that ally makes with the chosen skill or tool. Assist attack roll. You momentarily distract an enemy within 5 feet of you, giving advantage to the next attack roll by one of your allies against that enemy.
Well, that fucking sucks for any class that had, or for like sneak attack. That just blows sneak attack out of the water. Because now anybody can get sneak attack, basically.
Kind of, yeah. It kind of looks that way.
It doesn't look that way, my friend. It is that way. The facts are right in front of you. You need data. You got data. You can't handle the data.
We'll have to see what the feedback is. I think playtest 7 PDF is going to get really beat up.
Rob Schneider accents are in a league of their own.
Yeah, they really are. That man's incredible.
Seriously, that just blew sneak attack out of the fucking water for a rogue. The main rogue.
It does consume the other player's action, though.
Still.
And it does kind of solve one other problem that's always bothered me a little bit, and that is you're hiding in plain sight. Is that fair?
Wait. Yeah, the hide in plain sight. I've always
found that weird. It's like I always appreciate
what does that have to do with the sneak attack thing? Though?
Well, it's just there's a formula for sneak attack, right?
Yeah.
You bonus action hide, and then you then take the attack action.
Right.
And if you're hiding, right, you get advantage on your strike. Right, because you're making your sneak attack, right? Okay, so I'm a little halfling alongside my barbarian who's fighting a bugbear. I bonus action hide, I attack action, with advantage. Well, you've already got advantage because you're flanking, right? So you get advantage on your second attack as well, right? So there's so many convoluted steps within the formula itself.
Oh, see, I don't allow people to hide in plain sight in a situation like that.
Well, is it really in plain sight when they can hide behind, their ally?
Yeah, but the person saw you run back there. They know that you're back there. It's not like...
Do they? Or are they distracted by the 9-foot-tall barbarian trying to cleave them?
But now they have okay, but a distraction is different. That's not hide in plain sight. A distraction is a distraction, which then gives you advantage because they're within 5 feet, which hence then goes back full circle and kills the sneak attack.
The volumes of smoke coming out of your ears are just so insightful.
No, now I'm just playing idiot logic. Oh yeah, exactly. The Arya Stark Night King sneak attack.
Oh, here's one. Hide action.
Oh, okay. What do they say?
With the hide action, you try to conceal yourself. To do so stealthily, you must succeed on a DC 15 depth or stealth check while you're heavily obscured or behind 3/4 cover or total cover. And you must be out of any visible enemy's line of sight. If you can see a creature, you can discern whether it can see you. On a successful check, you have the invisible condition.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like
no,
they're taking away a lot of what made
I'm gonna call
characters
bullshit on that one.
special on some of this.
Yeah, that one I'm gonna call bullshit on. I like
What the hell is this?
I like how this is the show has now just become
just making
through
fun of
these.
Watsy.
Well, there goes all our sponsor dollars.
Well, they now have a section called attitude. So a creature's attitude.
You just pissed off our main sponsor. We just lost $12 billion for the next season.
Go fuck themselves. So attitude. A creature's attitude determines how a character can influence that creature.
Fuck you, man. Come on, you bitch. Fuck you. You're not gonna fucking hit me.
You want to fight about it?
You're a sissy. You couldn't hit the side of a barn with that bow, you bastard.
Each DM-controlled creature has one of the following attitudes towards the player characters. They're paying people to come up with garbage like this. That's what I don't get.
We'll take it from here, folks.
Like they're paying people to write a section called attitude. What the? An orc that wants to rob you may be indifferent?
Yeah. Yes. Please excuse my hideous visage.
Friendly, hostile?
My frightening visage is not meant to frighten you. It's just born this way. But unfortunately, I will be robbing you this evening. If you would kindly remove your valuables.
Half a page on an already used narrative principle. I'm just like...
Because, my good fellow, the narrative sometimes is wrong when it is imperfectly orchestrated by boobs such as yourself who call themselves dungeon masters.
They have this new thing called magic action. When you take the magic action, you magic something.
Okay, we really need sound effects.
Listen to how
because I so wanted to, the way you paused and said magic action, I wanted to hear.
This is so poorly written.
Okay, go ahead.
When you take the magic action, you magic something by casting a spell that has a casting time of an action, or by using a feature or magic item that requires a magic action to be activated.
Oh my god. They just rewrote the same fucking rule badly. What is the purpose of that? I'm
if you cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 minute or longer, you must take the magic action on each turn of that casting, and you must maintain concentration while you do so. If your concentration is broken, the spell fails, but you don't see, once again, failure's not being punished. They're not punishing failure.
What does it say? The spell
it says if you break concentration while doing this magic action, you fail to cast the spell, but you don't lose the spell slot.
Dumb.
It's like
triple. I'm gonna give that the double X. One, because it's dumb, and two, why the fuck did they have to rewrite?
I don't know.
Dumb.
Yeah, this
is why evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
We were just watching that movie last week. Spaceballs, the RPG game. I want to be
I see your
Lone
Schwartz
Star.
is as big as mine.
Is the only one that uses that type of raspberry jam.
That's why.
Lone Star.
That's why they
I'm a
changed
dog.
him.
I'm a man and a dog. I'm my own best friend. No,
okay.
I worry. This is a really good. This is a really good indicator of how their creators up in the Eiffel Tower or the ivory tower of existence, are so out of tune,
out of touch
with everybody. It's just they're just writing filler. That's what kills me. They're writing filler so that when people bitch and moan about how horrible it is, they can say, "Oh, we listened, so we're gonna go with this instead." It's like you should already know that what you're writing is fucking garbage.
Yep,
it's garbage. You should already know that. You're
garbage.
You're a fucking professional creator.
You're cabbage. You're cabbage. That's South Park. You're cabbage. Okay, Pink. What was the title of the first Dragonlance Adventure module, DL1?
Oh, I have that one.
It's
right there, and I can't see the name of it.
Drum roll. Anyone?
Something Kryn, I thought. Dragons or something like that.
Well, closer. Dragons of Despair.
That's right. DL1 Dragons of Despair. I actually have that module on my shelf in shrink wrap.
Nice.
In its original shrink wrap still.
Nice.
Hasn't been cracked.
What year was Yellow? What year was second edition D&D released?
That was in the 80s, right?
Yes. Specifically, what year within the decade?
It was the 80s. I want to say 87 or 88.
89. Fuck. You lose, but you'll be going away today. You'll be going home today with some dice and your very own playtest number 6, 7, and 8.
And your very own sense of incompleteness.
And a customized deck of Adventurer League character sheets.
Second edition is considered AD&D, correct? Second edition
is
AD&D,
correct,
right?
because they went right from AD&D to 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, orange. Which humanoids?
Orange.
Orange.
Orange on the compound.
Which humanoids are the favorite prey of green dragons?
Humanoids are the favorite prey of green dragons? I gotta say, it's gotta be lizard folk.
No, stupid hobbits. Elves is master.
Elves,
Elves is master. Green dragons is loves nice crunchy elves is.
Why do they like elves so much?
Because they're sweet and stringy.
All
right, one more, then we'll get back on another topic. What haven't we done? I don't like that question. Blue. Who was the bodyguard of Vecna? A ruthless lieutenant whose sentient magic sword still bears his name.
I don't know that one. I didn't know Vecna needed a bodyguard. I thought he was too badass for a bodyguard.
Everyone needs a bodyguard. My mom. Oh my God. A mom joke. Gotta get my sound effect game on. Cass, also known as Kaz the Bloody-Handed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I've used Kaz the Bloody-Handed. I didn't realize he was a bodyguard for Vecna. I had no idea. That's funny.
What does the acronym THACO stand for?
To hit an armor class of 0, and may it burn in hell forever.
That is correct in its entirety.
May it burn in hell forever. I got to be honest with you. I am not wild about the state of the games this fall. I don't have Candela Obscura, the final release yet. I don't have access to Daggerheart. Fortunately, I've got Walking Dead.
Well, now wait a second. Hold on. Let's give Critical Role the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they are just delving in, and these are brand new games that they created pretty quickly.
These are games that they've been sitting on for 20 years.
Hey, you shut up.
They're being lazy, and they're hiring lazy contractors.
Oh my God. Fuck you, man. Fuck. Stop.
No, I'm really excited. I've been able to spend a little bit more time doing my Walking Dead RPG read. I'm liking the system. But there's really nothing new coming out this fall that I've seen so far.
Board games. Play board games this fall. There's always new board games coming out.
Yeah, supposedly. Oh my God, I clipped a review.
Well, what about
board game?
Actually, I would. Well, I guess those aren't new. I was going to say Catalyst Games. Who just came out with Car Wars again? I think was it Catalyst, or is it Steve
Jackson? Did they come out with Car Wars yet? I thought
it could have been. It could have actually been Steve Jackson again. But there's a new Car Wars reboot. That's cool.
Is there really?
Yeah. Car Wars is always fun. You get to go buy Matchbox cars and shit, dude. We used to do that all the time, and then burn them up and smash them and shit.
I didn't realize that they did a re-release of a new Car Wars bundle.
See, I don't know how old it is. I mean, my facts are
6th edition Car Wars.
My facts are always questionable.
Well, yeah. Wow, Steve Jackson Games. Look at all this stuff he's got out. Yeah,
it is Steve Jackson. So I mean, there's that.
Oh, he's got Technomancer out there.
I mean, actually, kind of all of the Catalyst games are relatively new to the scene.
Yeah, they are relatively new. I still need to get my hands on the Aliens RPG too. I need to get my hands on that one as well.
Right. So.
Well, yeah, we used to collect Hot Wheels and we take Hot Wheels and Plastic Army Men and other like incomplete model packages, and we would just like, they have a term for it where you slap everything on there,
kit bash.
Kit bash. We just kit bash the hell out of these little Hot Wheels cars, and then we'd use them in the Steve Jackson games because Car Wars was so boring with those little cardboard trickster.
Totally.
Pieces.
I wasn't kidding. We used to do the same
we would
thing.
Pull out those Hot Wheels, and if you look at his bundles, like his bundle is $128, but they use real car, like they're using real car models.
Yes. Yeah.
And instead of the convoluted worksheets, they have cards, so it's interactive card games. You know what?
3 Miles, you're right. It is no joke. I actually started. So the only stuff I buy, because my dumb friend convinced me to. Actually, he didn't even convince me, but we're a bad influence on each other. And it's a good thing he's not here in chat tonight. But I'll tell this to him to his face later on. So, it's Matt. It's a twisted UO. So, everything I blame on him. As a way, when I ask forgiveness from my wife, she's like, "You bought fucking Hot Wheels cars. Your kid has to go to college." I'm like, "Yeah, but this is limited edition and it's fucking green, man." So anyway, I've been spending like 20, 25, 30 bucks.
This one's got the factory defected decals
on collectors.
So
like
you're
collectors,
telling me that you spent $100 on a broken Hot Wheels,
basically.
Yeah.
So now it's all collectors versions of Hot Wheels shit that are like $30 each, and then within 2 months they're on eBay for $150, $200.
It's fucking.
I'm heavily investing in Hot Wheels futures.
Well, we did it again.
Talked about nothing for an hour.
Yeah. And don't forget, we're off next week.
Yes.
I am off the grid.
Okay.
We'll be back until Monday, October.
Till hell freezes over.
Which may be soon.
No, hell is melting. I mean, all the ice is melting.
Well, yeah, there's that. So yeah, Monday, October 9th is when I get back into town. So
so we will
I'll be mostly off grid.
Okay, so we will skip next week. unless I could beg a guest to come
Co-host.
on with me,
Yeah.
co-host. But most likely, I'll make that decision by tomorrow sometime, end of day tomorrow. So I will either post the ad for next week's show, or I will post an ad that says, fuck you, we're not having a show next week. But unfuck you 2 weeks from now, when we will be back with another topic.
That.
So
where can we find you, Bri?
First of all, because I always forget, thank you everybody again for joining us, especially those of you in chat. As always, thank you for joining us. And for those of you watching afterwards, 20 years from now, when we're rich and famous and you're looking back in the retrospective and find this shit, thank you.
Oh my God, there's such potty mouth.
You can find me at RPG and Co, ANDCO, at Instagram. That's the best place to find me. Send me a DM there, and check out the website at playrpgandco.com for a lot of my artwork in the form of apparel and stickers and swag and stuff like that. Some content that I've done, a lot of content that Jason has done. So check it out. How about you?
You can find me over at the Twitch universe just go to TTRPG Academy over at Twitch, go to the About Us and find all the subsequent links and everything. Come join our Discord. Pretty popular Discord. Got some stuff going on there. Other than that, that's what's going on.
Cool. And
PPK.
Don't forget. Oh, I was going to start it this time so we can.
Oh, you bastard! All right, you get started.
No, that's okay.
No, you go. I cut you off.
No, you got it in. You won.
Well, that's true.
Tell a story.
Play a game.
And be kind.
Be kind.
Thank
Good
you
night,
all.
everybody.
Good night.